Socrates presents himself as a simple fellow in the text, but he's also capable of great stylistic facility and rhetorical flourish. And in fact, the opening sentences of the Apology convey this to us very well, where there's the kind of distancing from the charges that are presented, that have been made against him, but at the same time, this distancing is couched in a very carefully worded set of Greek clauses, and it's worth studying those opening sentences of the Apology very carefully and looking at the way in which Socrates both tries to win the favor of the audience, tries to bring the audience over to his side, and at the same time says that he's not a very clever speaker. He doesn't really use fancy rhetorical and stylistic devices in his speaking. But of course he does. And we know that from the Apology too. We know that again from various moments in the Apology where we can see him speaking with a great deal of polish. The last few paragraphs of the Apology again are extremely sophisticated and quite moving too in their way, when he talks about his acceptance of the punishment that has been handed down, and about what his last days are going to look like, and the death that awaits him. Derrida, the philosopher Jacques Derrida, once said that the hardest thing for a philosopher was death, to learn how to die. And I think he probably had the Apology in mind when he said that. Socrates' speech in the Apology is about trying to learn how to die. And in a way that was, I think, what he was exploring through the Apology. This most difficult of all human questions, the most difficult of all philosophical questions, perhaps, is something that is being worked out through the Apology. We might also think of this as Plato's response to Homer, in a way, to the Homeric questions of life and death. The mortality of the hero is such a strong theme in the Iliad, and here the hero is Socrates, and it's he who's trying to understand what it means to be immortal, and how he's going to come to a understanding, to a meaning of his own mortality in this terrible set of circumstances that he finds himself in. So we want to be careful when we read Socrates saying things like he's a simple fellow and that he doesn't really draw on sophisticated thoughts or rhetoric or language. He's actually exploring the most profound and the most sophisticated of questions in a language that is also quite difficult and challenging.